Okay. So welcome again to the Launch with Pride Challenge. I am your host, Justin, and the goal of this challenge is to help LGBTQ plus entrepreneurs grow their impact and income using challenge marketing. So welcome. Who is this for? It's for queer coaches who have programs to serve our communities looking for more clients, queer service providers looking for a strategy to launch their next or current service and also find more clients, more customers. It's also for nonprofit leaders looking to re-engage their communities with this strategy, authors who are launching a book or who are releasing a book and wanting to grow their audience and possibly sell other programs on that. That's for them too. And then also for all entrepreneurs who identify under the queer umbrella, looking for a marketing strategy that relies on authenticity. My goal this week is to let you know what challenges are about and to let you know some of the tips and strategies, some of the pitfalls to avoid, and then sort of just coming up with a challenge on our own. So if you fit any of these categories, you can definitely benefit from the training and information being provided this week. So some people are unsure what a challenge is. So a challenge is basically a marketing campaign. It goes by many other names. Some people call them boot camps. Some people call them sprints. Some people call them lightning launches. Some people call them live events or virtual events, but it's all sort of the same thing. It's a marketing campaign. So the idea is to do some of the marketing for your job, for your business. They typically have some kind of time definition, so 3 to 7 days, some may be longer. And the goal is to solve one specific problem for one specific audience. That way you can create this container that has a tight beginning and ending and a value of why people should even show up. And during a challenge, you typically provide live training and teaching around whatever subject you're talking about. And then each day of the challenge, there are typically assignments for participants, so that each day there will be an assignment. And as you do the assignments, they should build on each other. That helps you solve that problem by the end of the challenge. So that helps that challenge goal get accomplished. And at the end of a challenge, attendees can be invited to continue the journey with you as the leader of the challenge. So part of the whole goal is we are doing this as a marketing activity, and we are helping use our expertise to solve a problem for people. And each day that action helps them solve more and more of that problem. So by the end of the week, they have solved their problem. They've gotten to get to know, like, and trust you. And you have been able to market with them. And that way, if you do have a product, coaching program, or whatever you want to sell at the end of it, they have reasons to trust you. They have reasons to purchase from you. And they're able to make that decision most effectively. So why am I even running this challenge? Here's a headline from yesterday. There's a court case at the Supreme Court where there's a wedding website designer who refuses to do any gay marriage websites. So one side, it's claiming religious liberties or whatever. This person doesn't want to do this because it's against their religious beliefs, whatever that means. And then the other side is saying this person is legally allowed to discriminate. This is going before the Supreme Court right now, and depending on how that case goes, it'll give either more people the license to discriminate, or it will find some way for people who are providing a public service to, I don't know, to support more communities. Personally, I don't really know what I want the outcome of this case to be, but there's a part of me that doesn't care about this person. When I look at our LGBTQ community, I think we have many website designers, many cake decorators or makers, bakers. Like we have many of the resources we need to help support each other and to help us as a community grow. And I would rather us work with people who are like us, who we trust. I'd rather keep our community going to our causes than investing in someone who doesn't believe in us. And yeah, I think part of my goal is if we can have more queer entrepreneurs learn certain marketing skills and be able to implement them, when there's queer people getting married or wanting to adopt or wanting to update their house or doing any of these different things, they would have someone who is either already part of the LGBTQ community or someone who is already inclusive and caring and compassionate towards those of us in the LGBTQ community. So our money can help sustain our economies. I also think about a number of the nonprofits that I have friends in and that I also support in some. And I would much rather see the excess money, the profits from our businesses going to these nonprofits who are doing some hard work to help make society more equal, to help make the lives of queer people more equitable, and just having a more successful and thriving community. So other reasons why I'm running this challenge is I want to see our queer economies thrive, both this year and next. We all know in Pride Month, there are a lot of different companies that show how they are inclusive. But, a month or two after, they go back to the same. And, they have our dollars and they don't always give back to our communities. And sometimes they actually give back to harmful causes and other people who are against our communities. We just had midterm elections and they're technically still not over, but we don't really know how in the US, how politics will shape up and whether the next people in charge will make things harder for our communities or less. We also seen inflation, and the main goal is if our businesses can thrive, if our businesses can thrive, we have more resources to help our communities thrive. And then we can work together to support ourselves, since no one is coming to save us, no one is coming to help us. We need to be able to take care of ourselves, and business is a strong way to do that. So a little bit about me. Since college, I've been doing software development and technology consulting for over 15 years now, working with non-technical folk to understand their needs, understand where they want to go, and then developing technical solutions to help them get there. Also, I'm a board member of Seventh-day Adventist Kinship. We are an international LGBTQ nonprofit working in the religious space, trying to promote more inclusion and connection between those of us who grew up Seventh-day Adventists and also the church organizations. So that's that. And you can see a picture in the top corner about me at our last camp meeting event. We do these yearly events for the past 40 something years, where we bring people together to just have fellowship, community, and connection. And I serve on their board. That's one of the things I do in my free time. And then more recently, during the pandemic, I joined Crush It You, which is led by Pedro Adeo, who's there in that middle picture. He's sort of become the challenge guy. And during the pandemic, his challenge framework and methods have sort of just taken over how a lot of people are doing their online marketing. And I fell into his program and I committed it deeper to get into Crush It You to sort of learn the ins and outs of challenges, why they're effective, and so that I can help other businesses implement this methodology and framework. So it's a little bit about me. And yeah, so if you were here for our challenge back in October, we sort of just talked about marketing from a higher level, just talking about the general foundations, right? And the simplest way I can think about it is answering these three questions. What service do you provide or product do you sell? Who are you going to serve with that product? And how will you provide the outcome to the customer? I hope some of you were able to be a part of that and learn from what we're talking about. But sort of these three questions are the foundation of the business. And by answering them, it'll tell us how our marketing will go. So I just wanted to bring this slide back in just to remind people about these foundations. We're not going to go as in depth as we did before, but some of those videos are still available and you can watch those replays if you need them. So when I think about entrepreneurship and the queer community, I think of entrepreneurs as people who solve problems for other people. So identifying a need and then working to solve that. So as members of the LGBTQ community, we know our problems best, and we know how to create productive solutions. There are lots of stories of people from outside communities thinking they know the answers that should work for people within the community. And as queer people ourselves, I think we've been able to experience some of these problems firsthand. And we've been able to see some of the solutions that work and some of them that don't work. Many solutions have some assumptions about the people who will be implementing them or the people who they will be serving. But as members within our community, we don't have to rely on all of those assumptions. We have some firsthand experiences which we can use to grow and to make a bigger impact with the products and services that we do. And also, as we can't force other people to be inclusive, but as a community, the more resources we have, the more self-sustainable we are, the easier it is for us to invite others into our community if they need it. And for those members in our community who have less, we can use the abundance that we have. We can use our overflow to help support those causes, those needs, those people. And by us doing it from our own selves, we get to have that choice of who we want to help and how we want to help them. So today is day one, and I wanted to talk about why every LGBTQ entrepreneur should be running a challenge. So there are a couple key points I want to bring out, and here we go. So why should every LGBTQ entrepreneur run a challenge? One, authenticity. In our journeys, in our coming out processes, we've had to truly understand who we are, and we've had to make the decision to be open about that, to even if we're different, even if our families don't understand or society doesn't understand, we have to be authentic to who we truly are. And for challenges, authenticity is probably the number one reason why they work. If someone decides to show up live with you, or even if they see the replays later, they are getting to know who you are. You are here, I'm live on camera talking to you. If you hear any, okay, pause. If you happen to hear any sirens or trucks or other sounds, I do live in the city and this is just what happens. So authenticity helps challenges sell. It helps people see that you are a real person and that you have real expertise, you have real ideas, and more importantly, they can see your heart. If you're going to be here with me all week, you're going to hear from me, you're going to be able to ask me questions, and I'm going to be able to understand you a little bit more as well. So that authenticity is something that we as queer people have been working on for much of our lives, and challenges rely on authenticity to truly connect with potential customers. And then if anyone, it's time to make an invitation to work with you, they have an idea of who you are, what you're about. And when they make that decision, it'll be a lot easier than just some random person they saw on an ad or on an automated webinar or something like that. So that's number one. Two, community. As LGBTQ people, we know what it's like to find inclusive spaces. There are many, many spaces and communities that exist that do not understand queer issues or queer ideas, that do not understand how to be truly affirming and welcoming to people under the queer umbrella. And by forming a challenge, by running a challenge, we are creating this container, we're creating this community where we get to create this community. So we get to define what inclusivity looks like. We get to define how to address people and how we want people to be. So challenges are great because they create a container for community where everyone can be able to see, all right, this is what we're about. Also, when I mentioned challenges, they're about one, solving a problem for a specific type of person, creating that community where we all are trying to solve the same problem. And many of us espouse similar values or similar ideas that allows us to better connect with each other. Like for this event, there is a Facebook group for this challenge, and I hope that everyone signed up to join. And part of the reason why I want everyone to join that Facebook group is so that you can see other people while they're answering some of these questions, while they're thinking about some of these ideas and sharing some of their own businesses, by seeing what they're doing, hearing what they're doing, hearing their questions. We get to learn from each other. So it's not just people taking whatever I say, but it's also connecting with others and seeing how they process it. And challenges are really good at creating that community because we're all sort of committing to this conversation, we're all committing to this event, and there is that space where we can come together and show up as we are. 3, impact. Many of the entrepreneurs that I know aren't just in this for the money. We're in this to help. We're in this to serve. We actually care about people, and we want to see a difference in the people's lives. And if there are ways we can make a difference in people's lives, that's why we do what we do. That's why we choose to show up. That's why this week I'm here, on my lunch break, using this time to talk, to connect, to train, to teach. My goal is for each person to be impacted. My goal is for each of you to understand what's happening. And if there are ways I can support you in your business, if there are certain ideas that can resonate with you, that's what I'm looking for. That's why I'm here. And one of the best parts about challenges, many people will run a free challenge. So it's completely free for anyone to join. So when people are able to join your challenge, they are able to be served by you, which means you're making an impact in their lives. And depending on what problem you help them solve, you're making an impact in the lives of people around them. So for many other products and services and other marketing styles, it's here's some information and like pay to work with me. And then once we work together, that's when we'll actually have more of that change. But when it comes to challenges, we can help someone solve a problem in their own life. And even if they don't work with us, even if there is never a transfer of money, we can still know that we made a difference in their life. We can still help them. We can still teach them. We can still educate. And although they may not get the full value of what we can offer, they do have some. Especially because there are some people who may not have funds to give, or they may have to choose between one priority and another. But by having a free challenge and by giving that value and by teaching and serving and leading, they are able to be impacted by us even before any money is exchanged. Okay, and another big benefit of challenges are the interactivity. I'm not sure if that's a word, but we're going to go with it. Challenges allow for a back and forth. The live experience of a challenge allows both for you to see what's going on with me and me to also see what's happening with you. I'm able to understand what's going on in your world as I'm training. This isn't just I'm speaking out loud and that's what happens. It's I'm saying this, and those who are here live, they can ask questions, they can leave comments, they can even leave the Zoom meeting and I can know maybe I said something wrong or whatever. But that interactivity allows the business owner, the entrepreneur, to get feedback on what's happening in real time. When people watch the replays, they can leave comments and ask questions. And then tomorrow, I can adjust those comments and questions. For many other marketing strategies and frameworks, you don't have that back and forth. You only get that back and forth after they've already decided to be a customer. When it comes to doing things like a video sales funnel or like a webinar funnel, those are great and they work. And it's nice to have them run when you're asleep. But if it's not converting, where did the problem happen? What are the questions people had? Whereas I can know that if on day one, 20 people show up, and if day two, 5 people show up, I can actually reach out to those 15 people and say, what happened? Why didn't you show up? Why, how can I do this process a little bit better? And I can get that feedback. Also, things can change. I can have an idea of where I want this to go, but based on the feedback that people are giving me, maybe I might have to edit it a little bit. Many other marketing strategies and campaigns don't allow for that flexibility in what's happening. So I think the interactivity of a challenge is one of the greatest reasons why I think queer entrepreneurs should do this, just because it allows for improvisation, it allows for meeting people where they are, and it allows for a deeper understanding of what's actually going on in the minds of our customers, because we're able to talk to them before, like, in the process. So that interactivity, I think, is one of the biggest selling points of doing a challenge. And yeah, so, and then the last thing is income. We all are running our businesses or starting a business or using funds to get things done if we're in the nonprofit space. Challenges provide an income generating event. By running a challenge, by scheduling to have a challenge, we can say, all right, this is my business processes. And it's like, there are some people, for example, there are some people who do challenges every quarter, and they have a 2-3 month long program. So their whole business structure can be based around a challenge. So it's leading up to the challenge, there's promoting it, getting people to sign up, getting people to join, and then having the challenge, delivering that value, making an offer at the end of that challenge, and then afterwards working with the new customers to fulfill that challenge. And then once you've given them their breakthroughs, once you've given them what they need, then you can run another one and have a whole new set of people join. So part of the benefits of that is you're able to, like, focus your marketing efforts on one time to do one amazing challenge, bring in that income, and then fulfill, instead of being overwhelmed with having to always be on marketing and always be on fulfilling at the same time. Depending on the size of certain businesses, that can be overwhelming, but challenges can help bring that income in all at once. Also, when it comes to, other strategies to fill your challenges, like ads and having affiliates, by focusing all those revenue generating activities at one point in time, you're able to then generate one large sum, and then you can then schedule out, here's how the next months will go. Yeah, so between that and that, those are two big reasons for the income to happen. Yeah, so those are the top 5 reasons why every entrepreneur should run a challenge. It allows you to lean into your authenticity and have people experience that. It allows you to create community in a specific place where you're helping specific people solve a specific problem. 3, you're able to make an impact with all of those people who join the community in your teaching and your training. Whether or not they even buy from you, you can still make an impact in the lives of others, both in the people who show up and, as you teach them, the people in their lives who are now impacted through the knowledge they're able to implement in the world. 4, you're able to be interactive with your audience. As days goes on, you can pivot slowly. You can learn more about the attendees and your ideal clients, and then you can be able to make sure that what you're doing actually serves them, instead of having to wait till the end and then realizing something went wrong in the process. You can be more flexible and nimble to adjust as you get more data. And then lastly, income. You can use challenges to generate income, to generate that revenue, so that by the end, so that when you have your revenue goals, you can use challenges to say, all right, this is how much I want to get from this challenge and how I'm going to use that to serve in my business throughout the year. So when it comes to challenges. There are some people who do them monthly, some quarterly. It's sort of about finding out what pace makes the most sense for your business and your revenue. So as the week goes on, we can talk more. We will be talking more about what makes each, about what really goes into each of those steps of that process. Yeah, and what I'd like to share now is, for most challenges, we always end with a homework assignment, especially for the early days. And the goal of the homework assignment is so that each day it does build on each other. So by doing all of the homework assignments, that'll help us get to the challenge goal. If you remember, the goal of this challenge was, one, to let LGBTQ entrepreneurs know and decide whether or not a challenge would be right for them to do in their own business. Two, to learn the pros, cons, the ins and outs and nuances of what makes a challenge profitable and productive. And then three, to actually be able to create your own challenge for your business. Doesn't mean that you'll run it, although I hope you will. But the idea would be, if I were to run a challenge for my business, here's what I think it would be. And as the week goes on, it won't just be, here's what I think it would be. It's, here's the type of problem I would solve. Here's who I would help. Here's what my offer would be. And here's a really cool idea that would work. So as the week goes on, we will definitely be answering more of those questions and helping you come up with a design for a challenge for your business. So the last thing I want to do is share with you the assignment. So yeah, for our assignment, there are three simple questions. So I'm going to redo this, but don't worry about it. Question one, what services or products does your business provide? So what business are you in? What is it that you even do? So when we think about challenges, right now, this one is about teaching people challenges in marketing. So it's more in the business direction, in the wealth direction. There's, the three main markets: health, wealth, and relationships. So which market are you in, and how do you help people in that market? Two should be, what's your revenue goal, either for the rest of the year or for next year or for the next quarter? Having a revenue goal helps make it tangible so that we can see, if you were to have a challenge, how many sales or customers would you need to hit that goal? Whether it's just for the quarter or for a month or for the whole year. But being able to be tangible and practical about that will definitely help when it comes to creating this challenge for your business. And then three, what marketing strategies are you using to get there? Challenges are one of many, many marketing strategies that are out there, many marketing strategies and frameworks. There are many benefits of challenges, and there are a few drawbacks of them. Just like every other strategy has pros and cons. So by looking at your current marketing strategies, what are you thinking? What are you planning to use to get there? What are you using that's already effective for you? Because if it doesn't work for yourself, if you know what's working, it's how can a challenge leverage that part and bring it together? Or if you have something and you know it's not working, you have a baseline to compare what a challenge could be. Yeah, because I think at the end of the day, challenges work for all businesses. Yeah, I'll stand by that. I think challenges work for all businesses, but how you do the challenge is what really matters. And coming up with a good challenge is not the same as just running a challenge. So these are the three main questions today. What business are you in, and like what services you provide? What's your revenue goal for the next, let's say the next quarter, and how many sales or customers you need to make that happen? And three, what marketing strategies are you finding effective, and are you planning to use to get there? So the idea is to post those in the Facebook group for your chance to win prizes. Yep, I forgot to mention prizes, but yeah, so there will be prizes this week for those who show up and engage. The number one thing you can do to win prizes is to show up. So those who show up live, whether it's on the Zoom webinar or in the Facebook group watching the replay, those are different ways you can win. So what you can do to get more chances to win is showing up live or watching the replay and commenting replay on the video. That way I can know that you read it and I can create a new ticket for you to be able to win, like a raffle ticket. 1, 2, doing the homework assignments. As you do the homework assignments, that allows me to see that you're taking action, you are being engaged in the process, and you are here for the long ride. So as you do your homework assignments, those also give you raffle tickets that you can win. And then 3, inviting a friend. As I said earlier, challenges work because of the community experience that you can do, because of the community engagement. And my goal is for not just me to talk to you directly, but for you to be able to talk to other entrepreneurs that are in here, others who are answering some of these same questions. Sometimes there's a lot that we can learn just by seeing how someone else asks a question or how a question is answered that someone else asked. So as you join the Facebook group and bring more people in there, we get to have a more thriving community and to learn from each other. So that is officially day 1 of the Launch with Pride Challenge for December 2022. Thank you all for watching this and being here. Sorry for some of the technical difficulties earlier, and I look forward to connecting with you all in the Facebook group or online, and you know how to reach me. So thanks again, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.